Greetings, mortals. Welcome to another session of the Infernal Court in Musical Hell. I'm Diva, your judge, jury, executioner, and dancing queen. Generally speaking, I'm not a fan of jukebox musicals. They're not all bad by any means. In fact, one of the greatest movie musicals of all time is technically a jukebox musical. But for the most part, they tend to leave me cold, figuratively speaking. It doesn't help that the genre has become irritatingly ubiquitous over the past several years. And for that, we can thank our next offender, Mamma Mia. In many ways, Mamma Mia is the quintessential jukebox musical. A bunch of songs from a specific era or artist, in this case the music of Swedish disco nuisance ABBA, strung together by something that more or less resembles a plot. The success of the resulting show ensured that as long as producers could dig up random bits of nostalgia and parade them before an audience, they wouldn't have to worry about things like original music or interesting stories. To a certain extent, I can see why this movie is popular. There's plenty of nice scenery, blue Mediterranean waters, rustic Greek island landscapes, Colin Firth, and the music is ridiculously catchy. I mean, I don't even like ABBA and I can't help singing this stuff. If I were fair, I would just say this movie isn't my cup of tea and leave it at that. But I'm a demon. I don't do fair. Let's examine the case of Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia. Here I go again. My, how can I resist? Get it out, get it out, get it out! We begin with our young ingenue Sophie crooning the first of ABBA's many torture devices as she mails off 3 letters in the dead of night. Their recipients are Sam the dashing Pierce Brosnan character, Harry the stuffy Colin Firth character, and Bill the free-spirited Stellan Skarsgård character. The reason behind this is explained when Sophie meets her BFFs who she's drafted into bridesmaiding at her upcoming wedding. Is there something you ladies would like to share with the rest of the audience? Guess not. Oh yes, the reason. See, Sophie's mom, former disco sensation turned bed and breakfast owner Donna Sheridan, has never told Sophie about her father, so Sophie did some snooping in her mom's diary to see if she could suss it out.
August 11th, Harry turned up out of the blue, so I said I'd show him the island. He's so sweet and understanding I couldn't help it, and dot, dot, dot!
Sophie's creepily enthusiastic perusal of her mom's sex life is accompanied by the song Honey, Honey. What does this have to do with the story? Nothing, really. And that brings us to sin number 1, the shoehorned-in songs. This is a problem a lot of jukebox musicals have, and the main reason why I have trouble getting into them. The songs are often at best an awkward fit for the dramatic situation at hand. Take Honey, Honey, for example. Supposedly, the song is Donna's journalings about her love life, but all it really tells us about her is, yeah, I had sex and I liked it. Even in the annals of pop music, there are songs that could provide more interesting insights into her character.
I kissed a girl and I liked it, the taste of her cherry chapstick. I kissed a girl just to try it.
It gets even worse when they try to force songs in where they don't make sense. For example, Donna is consistently established as a fiercely independent woman who takes great pride in being able to take care of herself.
I love being on my own. I really do. You know, every morning I get up and I thank God that I don't have some middle-aged menopausal man telling me how to run my life.
So why does she have a big fantasy sequence about being a kept woman on a yacht? Pretty much so she can have an excuse to sing Money, Money. Even the characters admit this scene doesn't really reflect Donna's personality.
Oh, God, I'm just whining, you know, me do. I don't need to be taken care of.
I've heard plenty of I Want songs, but that may very well be the first I Don't Really Want song. Back to the diary. It turns out Donna did the horizontal hustle with Sam, Harry, and Bill around the time Sophie was conceived. This is a bit of a blow to Sophie, who is dead set on being given away by her bio daddy on her big day. Not to be deterred, she invited all three of Mom's partners to the wedding and has a clever plan for determining which one is really her father.
I will know my father as soon as I see him.
Wow, dumber than advertised.
This is probably a good time to discuss sin number 2. The plot is extraordinarily stupid. It's not that the plot is thin and silly. A lot of musicals have silly plots, and of course there are those that don't really have a plot at all. Mamma Mia is a classic example of the idiot plot, a story which would be resolved in 30 seconds if it weren't for the fact that every single character in it is dumber than a bag of brimstone. We'll see a lot more of this as we go on, but this starting point is a good example of what I'm talking about. Sophie concocts this scheme for finding her real father that no sane person would ever think would work, so he can participate in a now meaningless tradition. And for that matter, the reason she's having this daddy drama in the first place is because her mom was an idiot 20 years ago.
And I have brought this all on myself because I was a stupid, reckless little slut. It's Catholic guilt!
No, it's common sense. Having unprotected sex with 3 guys in 2 weeks may not necessarily be a sign of rampant promiscuity, but it's certainly irresponsible. And by the way, why does Donna have the current addresses for 3 men she's had no contact with for 2 decades? Makes no sense. Donna's cheering squad is the other 2/3 of her old group, Donna and the Dynamos, consisting of Rosie the Dumpy One and Tanya the Cougar One. They're here to provide Donna with moral support for her daughter's upcoming nuptials, which mostly involves drinking and cackling a lot.
Are you getting any?
What do you mean?
Isn't there a Red Hat Society meeting you ladies should be attending? Sin number 3. This movie tries way too hard to be fun. Watching Mamma Mia is like watching a party you weren't invited to. The people on screen are drinking and laughing it up and all, but there's no reason for the audience to share in their good times. As a result, the movie's enthusiasm just ends up being annoying rather than infectious. The song Dancing Queen is a case in point. Look, I get it. This scene is all about celebrating womanhood and throwing off the shackles of patriarchy-imposed drudgery and all that, and those are all very good things. But the way it's done on screen just comes off as forced and aggressively cheerful. It looks like something you might see during a commercial break on the Oxygen channel.
She believes in crystal light, but she believes in me.
And maybe it's just me, but it feels uncomfortable watching these postmenopausal women trying to act like 12-year-old girls at a slumber party. Ew, Meryl Streep just should not frolic. While Donna and her cohorts are busy celebrating female empowerment, Sophie comes face to face with her potential candidates for an archaic ritual that reduces the bride to a piece of property.
I'm Bill Anderson.
I'm Bright, Harry Bright.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
Sophie is shocked to discover that she can't just look at 3 complete strangers and instinctively know which one is her sperm donor. But the minor setback does not faze her, and this is where the idiot plot really kicks into high gear. Sophie tries to hide them in from Donna, but Donna finds them anyway, flashes back to the days when Harry was a bondage enthusiast, Bill was a Jimmy Buffett fan, and Sam was Frank Zappa, and has a spastic title song freakout.
Stop that! You're not going to do a song while I'm here.
So now Donna thinks she has to hide them in from Sophie so they won't ruin her wedding. Sophie tries to get them to stay while not telling them or her mother why, and both of them hide the truth from Sophie's fiancé Sky because he's the only person with an ounce of common sense in this whole mess and might end the plot early if he found out.
Soph, we've been over this a million times. You don't need a father, you have a family.
Throughout all this, Donna never figures out why the 3 men who might be Sophie's father show up for her wedding, and the men take a surprisingly long time to figure out there might be some connection between them and the 20-year-old daughter of the woman they knocked disco boots with 20 years and 9 months ago.
Why are you here? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? I don't know why they're here.
What am I doing here?
Why are they here then? Harry, what are you doing here?
This is more than not putting 2 and 2 together. It's not putting two and two together when someone is standing in front of you yelling, "It's for you, moron!" And yes, all this does lead to scenes where two people have one of those vague conversations that allows them to think they're talking about two separate things.
A wake-up call, a way to look at myself and what I really want out of life.
Last night? You didn't know? You didn't even suspect that you were...
Well, no, of course not. It's always been a secret.
Oh, just spit it out, Colin.
You must allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and love you.
I never get tired of hearing that. Sophie takes time out from needlessly convoluting the plot to bond with her maybe fathers, and this starts out being a pretty decent scene. The characters are very sweet together, and the song, Our Last Summer, fits with the wistful nostalgia of the moment.
We took a chance, like we were dancing our last dance.
And then they have to go and ruin it with sin number 4, Pierce Brosnan singing. Most of the cast in this movie have passable to decent voices. Amanda Seyfried and Dominic Cooper are probably the best of the lot. Brosnan, meanwhile, sounds like a drunk serenading outside his ex's window at 3 in the morning.
I tried to reach for you, but you had closed your mind. Whatever happened to our love? I wish I understood. It used to be so nice, it used to be so good.
This is bad enough under any circumstances, but the fact that Sam and Donna have this whole unrequited love subplot going on means we hear Brosnan a lot during what are supposed to be emotional high points in the film, and the agony of listening to him spoils the effect.
I see you kept my bagpipes.
They reminded me of your voice. Meanwhile, the movie's violent fun assault continues as Sky is abducted by the synchronized gay pride team and taken to his stag night, and Sophie is whisked away to her own bachelorette party.
Super Trooper, lights are gonna find me.
Where apparently Donna and the Dynamos have gotten very, very drunk.
'Cause somewhere in the crowd there's you.
Come on, Sophie, is this the best you can do for your last night of freedom? The Greek economy is in the toilet. I'm sure plenty of men have turned to stripping to pay the bills. At least the other guests know how to have a good time. The ladies tie up Colin Firth for their own amusement, because really, who wouldn't? While Sky and his friends crash the party dressed as the cast of The Lion King. And finally, at long last, Sophie's prospective patriarchs get hit on the head by the clue-by-four.
How old are you? I know why I'm here. I'm your father.
So now all 3 men think they're Sophie's father, and they all want to give her away tomorrow. Now surely Sophie will come to her senses and try to sort this out in a calm, reasonable fashion. Or she'll just faint like the idiot ingenue she is. With only a few hours before the ceremony, you'd think Sophie and the movie would be interested in finding a way to sort this mess out. However, we are treated to more important matters, like watching Mrs. Weasley do slapstick. It's about this time that the audience becomes painfully aware of sin number 5, the enormous amount of padding. This is the inevitable consequence of having way too many ABBA songs and not enough story to hang them on. The movie takes several detours that are pretty much meaningless. Subplots pop up at random and then get dropped without really being explored or developed. Tanya has this bit where she flirts with a hot island bartender, but it only really exists as an excuse to sing Does Your Mama Know? And engage in some weird diaper humiliation fetish porn. And I think there's supposed to be something going on between Rosie and Bill, but it's pretty much limited to random comic bits for about 90% of the movie. Ooh, Skarsgård ass. Thank you so much for that. Eventually, Sophie does the first relatively sane thing she's done this entire film and comes clean to Sky.
Hold on. You invited these guys and you didn't tell me.
No, I thought you would try to stop me.
Oh, there's an ironclad excuse for you. We should have used that one during the fall of man. Satan, why did you disguise yourself as a serpent in order to tempt Eve to eat of the tree of knowledge? I knew you would try to stop me! Oh, fair point, I guess. Sky is understandably upset because he's been lied to, and probably because he realizes his future wife is a special needs patient, and he storms off. Distraught, Sophie goes to her mother and asks for her help getting dressed. Right, because there aren't any other pressing matters to be attended to. Actually, this song, Slipping Through My Fingers, is probably the best scene in the movie. Streep and Seyfried have great mother-daughter chemistry, and the song does sound like the sort of things that might run through a mother's mind as she prepares to marry off her daughter. It's a nice, touching oasis from the relentless assault of zany and stupid in the rest of the film. Sophie gets dressed up like a feminine hygiene ad, and she suddenly decides that she'd like to be given away by the woman who raised her from a child rather than some random guy she just met yesterday.
Will you give me away?
So Sophie joins a nativity pageant headed for the church. I guess that argument with Sky just kind of resolved itself or something. And Donna stays behind to sing The Winner Takes It All at Sam because that song has to go somewhere, before running off in a dramatic fashion. And so everybody winds up at the church where the screenwriters just gave up and wrote down, hilarity ensues.
I know, I invited him.
You couldn't have. I don't know which one it is. Oh my God!
I do love the reactions from Sky and the priest in this scene. You can tell they know they're the only sane people in this entire movie. Sophie forgives her mother for being a yo-yo knickers. The three dads decide they're happy sharing Sophie. Harry comes out of the closet because the priest isn't freaked out enough. And Sophie realizes that she's okay not knowing who her father is and that she wants to travel around with Sky instead of getting married right away. Really, Sophie? After all that drama you put everyone through, you just abruptly decide it doesn't matter? Fine. You just earned this movie sin number 6, making the conflict entirely pointless. It's bad enough that the plot is motivated by general stupidity, but when it ends up leading nowhere, it becomes frustrating as well as insulting. Fortunately, Donna doesn't have to worry about the caterer's fee going to waste.
Why waste a good wedding? How about it, Sheridan? You're gonna need someone to boss around on this island of yours.
I'm sick of this. I don't give a damn who it is, but I'm gonna marry somebody today.
I can't conceal it.
Donna accepts Sam's terribly sung proposal, they get hitched, and it's all over.
One more toast, and then we'll pay the bill.
Okay. Apparently somebody thought Brosnan needed another song to ruin.
Could feel the autumn chill.
Sam gets done torturing the reception guests, and it's all over, but... Oh, come on. Isn't it a bit late in the day to be dealing with the Rosie Bill subplot? We've already covered the padding in this movie, but the ending in particular drags out so long that it deserves special mention as sin number 7. When you're wrapping up a 10-hour trilogy, you can justify spending 15 minutes on the conclusion. For something that doesn't even break 2 hours, it's a bit excessive. All right, are all the supporting characters paired up? Bill and Rosie, Tanya and Hot Island Guy, Harry and Harry's nameless partner we never met? Good. So everybody's happy, even me because the movie's almost over and Colin Firth is running around wet and shirtless. Sophie and Sky sail off into the blue-filtered day for night, and finally it's all over but the dance party ending. Ah! And my few brain cells not steamrolled by the ABBA catalog die a little after seeing those outfits. I will say this for Mamma Mia. It may be silly fluff, but it knows it's silly fluff and embraces the fact. And that's okay. There will always be room in the world for movies that just want to show people a good time. But I think Mamma Mia misses that mark. The stupidity of the characters and the forced enthusiasm of the proceedings make it more annoying than entertaining. Therefore, the Court of Musical Hell has no choice but to order these punishments. For giving one of the worst vocal performances I have ever heard in a musical, we condemn Pierce Brosnan to be trapped in a karaoke bar where the only other customers are Clint Eastwood and Gerard Butler. For spending so much time on their paternity drama and then failing to resolve it, we condemn Sophie and her potential fathers to a command appearance on the Maury Povich Show. And finally, for all the personal agony and suffering their music has caused me, we condemn Benny Andersson and Bjorn Ulvaeus to be earwormed by their own songs for all eternity. At least that way I'll have some company. So let it be recorded. This session of the Infernal Court in Musical Hell is now
Getting in the swing, you come to look for
Anybody could be that guy. Night is young and... Oh, for fuck's sake.
No more bloody singing!